Okay. Democracy 3 on the PC. This is being played on my laptop, tablet, PC, my Winbook. With 1 gigabyte of RAM, by the way, so it's probably going to run on a lot of things. Ready to get started on our first quarter. And looking at our quarterly report, the biggest problem we have right now is crime, so we got to find a way to reduce that. Health will come second, so let's see if we can reduce crime a tiny bit. See if we can start making some progress on that. Some other suggestions here that we can take a look at. The polls do not look good. Last poll puts it at 31% of the vote in an election. Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure when I started the game I was at 13%, but here we are. This chart shows an estimate of the percentage of the electorate that claim they would vote for you if there were an election right now. Didn't I start out at 11? Maybe I'm in the second quarter. It's entirely possible I didn't do anything. Taking any detail polls. Because I have to quit the tutorial. Okay, detail polls. It's the polling data that shows up for opinions given to Chicago on each line. Okay. Oh, I think we skipped a quarter. Yeah, looks like we skipped a quarter, but that's okay. You can toggle each line on and off using the color buttons, video voter group. So, I guess we dropped them on Patriots. Where did we go up? Well, we couldn't have gone up. How did we go up from 13 to... Just a second. Cynicism, complacency. Yeah, complacency is always... Complacency is important in every economy, I guess. In every system of government. Cynicism. Oh, sorry, cynicism, yeah. Complacency, cynicism, and percentage. So half the country is socialist. And 63% are conservative. Well, there's a conservative socialist, apparently. Here we are. Merca. So conservative versus liberal, trade unionists versus parents. Okay, so don't exactly know what happened here. Let's come back to that later. Let's check out the focus groups while we're here. Hit the focus group button. Individuals line up at the bottom of members of a random focus group. Click on an individual voter for more information. You can also find similar information on each voter group detail screen. See a focus group drawn from a specific voter type. This should help explain how voters make decisions. For instance, Michelle Anderson is mildly unhappy with the government. She's a member of the Republican Party here in America. Organization's non-voting. She will vote, and she makes a 6-figure salary. She's a patriot. She's a state employee and a patriot. Let's see. The middle income. She's a parent. Wait, was she influences? Okay. Huh. Oh, so she's a member of several groups who don't like me very much, but she's also a patriot, and the patriots like me generally. Okay, so she's mildly unhappy, though. Not very unhappy, but mildly unhappy. Excuse me. For each individual, this diagram shows the extent of which each voter group they are in. This diagram shows the extent with which they associate with each voter group they are in. She's a member of all these groups. She is highly influenced by conservatives, parents, middle-income voters, and patriots. Okay. Okay, so in other words, she's not influenced very much by state employees apparently, but they generally like me. So they probably wouldn't. So if she weren't a state employee, she would probably like me a lot less. Okay. Okay, the extent to which they associate with each voter group they are in, the opinion they get from that association, and how all that comes together. So let's just say, for instance, I guess, let's say she has some family, she knows a lot of patriots, or she is very patriotic. She knows a few state employees, let's say. I don't know if she is one, but let's say she knows some state employees, or maybe she is one, but she's not as influenced by them. You know how it is. You know, people who are in the military, but they aren't swayed that much by the military opinion, things like that. people who are teachers, but maybe they don't line up politically with a lot of other teachers. So she lines up with the Patriots rather well. She lines up with middle-income voters a lot. She lines up with conservatives a lot, but not as much with the state employees. So I guess that makes sense. Let's take a look at the popularity of your policies in the polls. Did I do any policies? I can't see. You're blocking the screen. Okay, it's a list of all the policies currently have implemented. What percentage of the population approve of them? For instance, everyone approves of food stamps in the space program. This doesn't necessarily mean unpopular policies should be changed. They may be raising needed revenue or achieving desirable social objectives. Also, remember that voters do get upset by situations and real-world phenomena, not just government policies. You know, wars, famine, pestilence. Oop. Anyway, it's enough for me. I'm sure you came here to investigate your polling figures, so I'll leave you to it. Community policing. I think I did implement this. Extremely popular. Gated. Is this the same game? I'll go back and check out the policies in a second. Give me a moment. Let me do a quick check on something. Load game. Yes, it's from yesterday. Okay. So I feel better. Okay. About to say, I'm like, did I implement? I don't remember implementing community policing. Because I thought the game canceled me before I can implement it, but there we go. Alright, so we got to do something about crime. Fascism is capitalism in decay. Vladimir Lenin. Okay, see what we can do about crime. In the meantime, got some polls reports right here. Which quarter are we in? Yeah, see? We skipped a quarter. Which is fine, I mean. We'll just pretend we're starting from the beginning. So whatever I did at the end of the last video, we advanced one quarter. Which is fine. We don't have to do a whole lot. We're in our honeymoon period. We don't have to do a whole lot in the beginning of the... we don't have to do a whole lot in the first quarter of our election. We've already had an inauguration day. We've made our interesting speeches, I guess. We promised to do everything and set everyone's expectations too high. So let's begin to underdeliver a little bit. Yep, a value below 50% indicates failure at the end of the game. Unless you have the Electoral College. This is an overall measure of the percentage of potential voter, but it's not taking into account people who will not vote on the day. You know, late bloomers, I guess. Voter types. Okay, focus group. Christina Lee. Is she wearing a princess? Anyway. Liberal, and liberals don't like... Oh, wow. 3.72%. Fanatically opposed to the government. We are, well, an unsatisfied liberal. We're the Democrats, but she's an unsatisfied liberal. She makes 6 figures. Unaffiliated. She might vote. Does not approve of me at all. She's a liberal. The liberals hate me right now. She's wealthy, and that doesn't sway her opinion very much. So basically, the reason why she doesn't like me much at all is because she's a liberal environmentalist, and they don't like me very much generally. Here's some random news. There's Joshua Jackson. He's a Republican who's aggressively opposed to me. Wait a minute, let me do a quick check. Yeah, he's a Republican who's aggressively opposed to me. He will vote. He doesn't make much money. Let's see, he's a trade unionist. Let's see. So he's a liberal trade unionist, and neither of those people like me very much. But he's a state employee, so he might be in a union with the state. He's a poor farmer and a state employee. So he's a farmer and a state employee. Okay, we'll just go with that. So I guess he would have hated me more if he weren't a state employee. Or maybe he's just, yeah, because they don't have much influence over him. He's a motorist, so that impacts his opinion a lot. He's a trade unionist, and that impacts his opinion a whole lot. He's poor, so that affects his opinion of me a tiny bit. So he doesn't hate me outright, but he doesn't like the government very much. Gary Thompson is fanatically opposed. He doesn't like me at all. 0% approval. He's going to vote. He's a member of the Wildlife Trust. He makes 6 figures. Where do all these 6-figure voters come from? He's an ethnic minority. They don't like me very much. He's also a state employee. Trade unionist, environmentalist. Okay, so basically he's most influenced. He's a minority, state employee. He's wealthy, but doesn't seem to affect him very much. He's environmentalist. Okay, so stuff like that. Stuff like that. New group. Amanda King is a Republican who's fanatically opposed to my government. She also works for the Wildlife Trust. Approval rating of 1. Does anyone like me? And here are my policies. Community policing. It's not in effect yet. Yeah, we could raise community policing, of course, which costs a bit more money, but it'll help us reduce crime. Let's see, because I actually wanted to implement this, but it'll take a while to go into effect. It'll make more liberals. It'll reduce antisocial behavior and what? Final. Just a second. So it'll immediately make more liberals. Well, it'll immediately increase my standing with liberals. It'll immediately, actually in about 2 years, it'll increase the number of liberals. Crime. Wait. Yeah, it'll reduce crime. Eventually, I guess. Okay. So it'll reduce that. Current. So it will decrease alcohol abuse by 20% in a year. It'll decrease antisocial behavior by 20% in a year. Cost history. Yes, we did implement this plan. Okay. That's good. So we could double how much money we're spending on it. But it's not going to decrease stuff that much, will it? 20%. But we could decrease crime by 31% and decrease antisocial behavior by 31% and make more liberals in the process. We want that. Not fully implemented yet, of course. So we could double the amount of money we spend on this thing. Yeah, we could double the amount of money we spend on this thing, basically. And if we eliminate it, if we lower it, we can spend political capital, but we're going to lose some of that effect, okay? But it's a popular way to reduce crime. So we can do that. So let's just see what we get based on this. Supply chain, actually, we can raise it for free. We're not using any political capital. See, if we raise it, it costs money in terms of cost, but not in terms of political capital. So we're fine. Next, let's see: tobacco tax, alcohol law, sales tax, tech college, inheritance tax, armed police. It's not popular apparently. Whoop whoop. Widespread. If you raise armed police, it costs 10. Lower armed police, 19. You can spend all of your political capital to eliminate armed police. Wow. Let's see. Submachine guns. Holy crap. Yeah, no one's gonna. It reduces crime and reduces your popularity with liberals. Violent crime will return to base levels. Specialists. Crime will... Okay. See, crime will sort of return to base levels. Okay, but it's going to cost too much money to cancel it outright. We can cut the amount of money we spend on this in half. It's going to cost us some political capital, so we'll stick to that. Okay, what else do we want? Creationism versus Evo, not popularity. The bitter battle is raged about the way children are taught evolution versus creationism. Scientists and liberals consider it obvious that evidence-based evolution should be taught in science classes. Some religious groups feel that it is wrong to teach evolution or Darwinism as fact. when it remains an unproven theory that has, or that creationism should be taught as an alternative theory in science. The government has to decide what is taught in our schools. They don't want the government to take a stand on this issue, apparently. Both systems are taught, it costs nothing. If we lower it, emphasis on creationism, yeah, that's a pretty, yeah, that's pretty, well, we probably don't want to take a stand on this. It costs no money, but taking a stand on the issue is right. It decreases the number of people who are religious by 31%, but also significantly decreases your popularity with the religious. Wow, this is brutal. And it ain't free. It costs you political capital to implement it. So taking a stand on the issue is very fraught. Prisoner tagging, not popular. A high-tech alternative to incarceration that allows people to reintegrate with the community upon release from prison, whilst allowing law enforcement authorities to keep a close eye on them. Liberals have concerns that such a system is a step towards a police state which monitors our every move. So currently, liberals don't like it. I could raise it. Raising it is more expensive than lowering it in terms of political capital. You can cancel it outright, for instance, which crime goes up a bit. Yeah, crime will go up 50%. But the idea is that it's basically returning to base levels. Liberals, it'll increase your standing with liberals a bit. We're going to look at that for now. So we're looking at unpopular laws. Let's see, the sales tax. Yeah, you could probably lower this. But you're going to have to find another way to raise money, and there are lots of ways to do that, actually. Sales tax is a class of regressive tax, which means it does not take into account the ability to pay. Critics argue that this affects the poor disproportionately and thus increases inequality. Supporters argue that it is relatively easy to collect and it affects everyone and is thus fair. So we've already explained this in the last video. We can lower it. It will cost us a tiny bit of political capital. We're going to have to pay for it, is the logic. If we lower it, it will decrease poverty. Immediately. So everything, if we lower this, it immediately affects all of these rankings. It will increase equality. It'll increase the self-employed, apparently. Yeah, it's less of a drag on our... So the self-employed will be more likely to appreciate me. So in other words, it will eliminate any drag that the self-employed have on me, I want to say. Or at least it eliminates that as a drag on... In other words, people who are self-employed will like me more because this will not be a drag on them. Capitalists, equality will reduce. So equality will not be a drag on my popularity. Poor earnings, middle earnings, and tourism. So basically, if you eliminate it, you lose that money. Let me check that. Yeah, so we're getting $6 billion. If I said it's a 1%. Yes, if I just set it to 1%, then we won't get that much money, but we'll gain in those areas. So we'll decrease poverty in the process. We won't eliminate it, but we will eliminate all poverty associated with the income tax if we reduce it to 1%. Cancel. Revert the changes. Okay, we're fine. Okay, so I'm not sure what I should implement here. There are a couple of other things I could do. Corporation tax. Food standards, ag. Citizenship tests. What the heck? Citizenship tests are a way of ensuring that people migrating to our country have a demonstrable understanding of our culture and history. You know, schools. This lessens the chance of a clash of cultures for newcomers to the country, encourages integration, reassures patriotic members of society that they need not fear immigration. Implementation, it's already implemented. It costs money, obviously. Low, none. Decreases racial tension. Decreases, so it increases immigration. Does it increase liberals? Yeah, liberals kind of like it. Ethnic minorities kind of like it, but it's not much of a drag. So basically, it's a way to reduce racial tension. Yeah, it's just a way to reduce racial tension, basically. It'll save money, but not a lot. Yeah, whatever it changes. This is like nibbling away at stuff. State schools, gated communities, what? A drastic solution to serious street crime and... Oh, this is just taking a stand. Drastic solution to serious street crime and vandalism. Gated communities are basically self-policed residential areas. They are popular with the wealthy, but often associated with a class divide and inequality, as only the relatively wealthy can afford to live inside them. As a result, some governments are reluctant to permit their construction. So we can take a stand on this issue. Let's see. Crime. Is it actually... So if I encourage gated communities, it reduces crime, but decreases it decreases our opinion with liberals, it decreases the number of liberals, and it increases inequality. But it increases our standing amongst the wealthy and the conservatives significantly. Yeah, that's pretty... Dude. If you want to win an election, I guess. Jeez. Take a stand. Depends on political capital to take a stand, I guess. Small business grants are very popular. The failure rate for small businesses is very high. In the early years of trading, a preferential government grant can be an enormous help to get a new enterprise off the ground. This can lead to a big boost in the economy, but it could also be an inexpensive policy with no guarantee of good results. It's already implemented. It's very popular with voters, especially the self-employed. It increases the number of self-employed, and it increases their income. It increases the GDP as well. It costs money. It costs political capital. Okay. So here's the thing. The big thing is we wanted to reduce crime. That was the big thing. Let's see. Changes. This is a list of changes to a state or country since you were first elected. Violent crime hasn't moved. What drops crime? Well, this is violent crime. GDP is... Oil demand is down, GDP is down. Tourism is down, but everything else seems to be static. So, crime. What reduces crime? What's this? Community policing is in effect. Okay, so that shows the impact community policing, it looks like. Okay. Causes. Armed police reduce crime. Community policing reduces crime. Let's see. That's in effect. So that's going to reduce crime a little bit. You could probably make up for it by reducing the number of armed police eventually. Gated communities and intelligence services are reducing crime. The police force hasn't budged, obviously. Poverty increases crime. Antisocial behavior. Okay. These things are going to drop in 1 year as community policing goes into effect. I'll show you that in a second. Right here. This is going to drop antisocial behavior and alcohol abuse significantly. So in 4 years, that's going to reduce crime. So let's go back. Okay, what else we got here? So that's our big goal here, is to find a way to reduce crime. Let's see. The effects. Increases the cost of prisons. Increases the cost of private prisons. Let's see. It makes some people like me less. Decreases GDP and tourism. Increases the number of vigilante mobs. And increases internet crime. So the solution so far is community policing to reduce these two drags. Drug addiction and internet crime. So I guess we'll try and solve it that way. We'll find a way to increase the economy. So the big drags on crime are alcohol abuse. So let's see if we can decrease alcohol abuse, antisocial behavior, and internet crime. So what else is going to reduce this? Police force reduces that. Community policing reduces that a lot. Community policing is a lot more popular than the police are. See if we can find a way to reduce that. It increases alcohol consumption. So community policing is going to drop that. Religiousness affects it a tiny bit. Unemployment increases it a lot. Well, a bit. A bit more. Causes an increase in crime. Conservatives don't like it. It increases the number of liberals. An increase in antisocial behavior decreases the number of liberals. So it decreases the number of liberals and significantly decreases how conservatives feel about you. Okay, so what else do we want to lower? Drug addiction and homelessness. So, drug addiction and internet crime. What decreases drug addiction? Narcotics and a police force. Narcotics. We could spend money outlawing them, but it costs a lot of political capital to do it. Legalize cannabis. Liberals won't like that. Yeah, that's amusing. Parents won't like that. Legalize LSD. Yeah, they really won't like that. Yeah, we're trying to reduce drug addiction. So the fact that it's outlawed means that we're reducing drug addiction. So if we legalize cannabis, that won't affect drug addiction, but it will increase crime a little bit. Increases it, yeah, it'll definitely increase crime a little bit. Doesn't cost any money. This is legal, but it doesn't affect drug addiction. Cancel. Legal drug consumption. Well, some drugs they wish to use consumption as a target for taxation. So yeah, of course. So armed police will drop crime. Police force will drop crime. Well, here's the thing. Prisoner tagging will reduce crime. We have to keep the police. We have to keep the police in effect for now. So what else can I do? Because crime was a serious problem. GDP has dropped. Let's see if we can raise that. But I tell you what. For now, let's just focus on crime. We'll just focus on lowering crime and see what the effects are of that. We'll make changes if we have to. So let's set up an autosave. Not an autosave, but a regular save. Don't have a keyboard, of course. Yeah, of course I don't have a keyboard. Well, I was hoping there'd be more than one way to do an autosave. Okay, fine. We'll skip that. Unfortunate, really. We can always start over. Okay. So, where is crime? Policies. We can implement import tariffs. Eventually, it'll cost some money. We could make some money. They're popular. It takes a while to implement. Let's see. Welfare. Economy. Nope. Yep, so like I said, we're just going to focus on crime anyway. Because we already did the whole, CCTV cameras. Installation costs are extremely high, and they're concerned about civil rights from people who don't like to feel the government's constantly watching them. It'll cost you some political capital. Gambling. Internet censorship. Legalized prostitution, wiretapping. Let's see, racial profiling. Law enforcement officials claim using racial profiling to quickly narrow down lists of potential suspects. Opponents fear leads to racial discrimination by police. Not popular. Race Discrimination Act. It costs money. I'm very curious how much this is going to cost us. Speed cameras. Don't tase me, bro. Not popular. Police drones. Curfews, detention without trial, and ID cards. Whew. Yeah. How about we not do anything fancy like that? CCTV cameras sound interesting. Okay, this is a cost. I guess we can always turn it off eventually. So we're going to focus on reducing crime with the Race Discrimination Act. What will this do? Offense citizens being discriminated against on the basis of race. Decreases racial tension. Increases your standing with ethnic minorities. And increases the number of liberals. Some conservatives don't like that. That's amusing. The conservatives really don't like that I'm maximizing it for some reason. Decreases racial tension a lot. It'll cost some money. It'll increase the number of liberals. And it's free once you implement it. It's completely free. You can lower it later if you have to, but it'll cost you some political capital. Okay, let's go halfway. Let's kick the can down the road, I suppose. Current decreases racial tension by 11%. Increases my standing with liberals by equal amount. Significantly increases my standing with ethnic minorities by 26%. Decreases my standing with conservatives by 3%. And increases the number of liberals by 10%. Okay, pollution might come later. Yeah, that's right. I gotta go to the, here we go. Quarterly report. I always want to monitor that. Okay, so we got the polls. Let's see. Economic forecast. Let's see. Our expenditures are going to go up. Our income is going to not go up as much. Debt is going to go up, obviously. We're trying to control crime. We'll worry about debt later. It's going to be a problem. I understand that. I completely understand that. Debt to GDP ratio is 95%. Fine. Expenditures. Pollution. Subsidized school buses. Oh, that's sorry. It's just the low stuff. Military spending. Actually, I wonder what we can do about military spending. Patriots love it. State employees love it. Increases the number of state memberships. But it decreases their income? Overwhelming force. Military spending. So if we lower this, we're going to use some of our political capital and watch what happens. Well trained. So yeah, patriots won't like me nearly as much. State employees won't like me nearly as much. It also, look at this. Unemployment will go up because military spending decreases unemployment. So that's the problem. Others would argue you cannot put a price on freedom and also put up the huge benefits for our business technology and unemployment figures. Yeah. The main issue here is that, overwhelming force reduces unemployment a lot because these people are employed by the state. It also increases the number of people who are members of the state. So this reduces unemployment. You're basically paying people. So if you're going to lower that, you're going to have to raise it somewhere else. So you can spend some of this political capital to lower military spending. But you got to put that money somewhere else. So keep that in mind for later. Can't raise it, obviously. So keep that in mind for later. If you want to grab that pool, you're gonna have to put that money in somewhere else. It could mean direct payments to people to deal with the effects of unemployment. State pensions. You can raise them. You can spend political capital to raise them. Okay, it costs a lot of political capital to lower them. So you can practically eliminate them. See, lower them significantly, for instance. The retired won't like you. Capitalists will really like you. It increases, yeah. These reduce poverty. So that's a big thing. Yeah, these things reduce poverty. Yep. So you could put some of that money into state pensions, which will reduce poverty. Yeah. So you could reduce poverty by putting some of that military money into this. The problem is that you also might be you have to find another way to deal with the unemployment that's caused by reducing the military budget. So we'll come back to that later. We're going to need more political capital to do that. Space program, road building, car usage, traffic congestion, yeah. This reduces unemployment. So again, if you're going to drop some of that money. So again, if you're paying for jobs, you have to find a way to make up that money because you're going to increase the unemployment rate. Okay, so those are some of the big ones. Alcohol abuse costs a lot of money. Really? Yeah, alcohol abuse costs a lot of money. Community policing will reduce that. So the money we're putting into community policing might reduce this alcohol abuse cost. Debt interest. Yeah, we'll worry about that later. Okay. So we'll worry about all that later. School vouchers. Let's see. Poor earnings. So if you increase them, they increase the earnings of the poor. They increase equality. But socialists don't like it. Oh, I see what they're trying to do. This is a different approach to pure state schooling because with school tax credits, schools are privately run. The teachers who are no longer state employees. Yeah. So yeah, socialists don't like it, but it slightly increases earnings of the poor. Yeah, it does. It increases equality. So basically, the socialists are saying you need to increase equality. So it reduces the number of socialists. Okay. Yeah, what is that? What that does? Yeah, it reduces the number of socialists. Yeah. Okay. Somewhat cynical. Okay. Let's off of that. Okay, so we'll advance a course. Yeah, we do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to implement those policies just to see what happens. I'm going to get a keyboard hooked up too. We'll see what that can do.